Opening scene, a press conference at the White House. The room buzzed with anticipation. Reporters shuffled their papers, adjusted their microphones, and exchanged whispers. Outside, protesters waved signs that read, "Mars is not for sale, and Earth first." The air was thick with tension, and the world waited for the announcement that would change history forever. President Donald J. Trump strode confidently to the podium, his signature red tie slightly askew. Behind him, the American flag stood proudly, flanked by the presidential seal. His face bore the expression of a man who had just made a deal he believed would go down in history as the greatest negotiation ever conducted by humankind. "Ladies and gentlemen," Trump began, his voice booming through the speakers. "Today marks a new chapter in a human history. For decades, Mars has been nothing more than a barren wasteland, a red rock floating out there in space. But thanks to the incredible work of American companies, we've turned it into a thriving colony. And now, it's time for Mars to pay its fair share." The reporters gasped. Cameras clicked furiously. "I am officially announcing a tariff on all Martian imports," Trump continued, his hands gesturing emphatically. "Martian minerals, Martian water, Martian whatever they're sending us. It's gonna be taxed. Big league. We're talking 25%, maybe more. Because, folks, America deserves better. We built the infrastructure. We sent the rockets. We took the risks. And now it's time to reap the rewards." The room erupted into chaos. Questions flew from every direction. But Trump raised a hand to silence them. "And let me tell you something else," he said, leaning closer to the microphone. "If those aliens up there don't like it, well, they can deal with it. America comes first, always." Chapter 2. The Warning. Scene NASA headquarters, Houston, Texas. Dr. Eleanor Finch stared at the monitor in disbelief. The signal had come in just moments after the president's announcement. A burst of data from deep space encoded in a language no human had ever seen before. Yet somehow, she understood its meaning instinctively. It wasn't a message. It was a warning. "What do you mean they're angry?" asked General Marcus Hayes, his voice gruff and impatient. He towered over Finch, his military uniform crisp and imposing. "I mean exactly what I said," Finch replied, her eyes never leaving the screen. "The aliens, the ones we've been detecting on the outskirts of the solar system, they've responded to the tariff announcement, and they're not happy." Hayes scoffed. "Aliens? Come on, Doc. We've been picking up weird signals for years. Doesn't mean there's little green men out there plotting our demise." "These aren't random signals," Finch insisted, her voice rising. "This is deliberate communication. They've been watching us, studying us, and now they're reacting." Hayes folded his arms. "Reacting how?" Finch hesitated, then pointed to the screen. A series of symbols flashed across it, alien glyphs that seemed to pulse with an eerie rhythm. Beneath them, a translation program struggled to make sense of the data. Finally, one word appeared in bold letters: war. Chapter 3. The arrival scene, Earth orbit, International Space Station. Astronaut Jack Monroe floated weightlessly in the observation deck, gazing out at the endless expanse of star. It was supposed to be a routine mission, a 6-month stint aboard the ISS, conducting experiments and monitoring Earth's atmosphere. But tonight, something felt different. "Hey, Jack," called his crewmate, Dr. Maria Vasquez, from the control room. "You seeing this?" Monroe turned toward the window. At first, he saw nothing unusual, just the familiar glow of Earth below and the distant shimmer of starlight. But then, a shadow passed across the station. It was massive, blocking out entire constellations as it moved. "What the hell is that?" Monroe whispered. The shadow grew larger, closer, and then it stopped. Hovering just beyond the station was a ship unlike anything Monroe had ever seen. It was sleek and angular, its surface shimmering with an iridescent light that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Symbols etched into its hull glowed faintly, matching the glyphs Finch had decoded back on Earth. Before Monroe could react, A beam of light shot from the ship, enveloping the station in a blinding glow. Alarms blared, the walls shook, and then just as suddenly as it had begun, the light vanished. Monroe blinked, his vision slowly returning. He looked around the station, expecting to see destruction, but everything was intact, except for one thing. Maria Vasquez was gone. Chapter 4. The Ultimatum. Scene. United Nations Assembly, New York City. The alien envoy stood at the center of the chamber, its towering form casting a long shadow across the room. Its skin was translucent, revealing a network of glowing veins beneath the surface. Its eyes were dark voids, unblinking and unreadable. "We are the Vey'kar," the alien said, its voice resonating in the minds of everyone present. "We have watched your species grow. We have tolerated your expansion. But now you threaten the balance of the cosmos." President Trump sat at the front of the assembly, flanked by world leaders. He leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, his expression defiant. "Threaten the balance?" Trump repeated, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "Listen, pal, we're just trying to make a buck here. You don't like it? Tough luck." The alien's gaze shifted to Trump, and for a moment, the room felt impossibly cold. "You misunderstand," the Vey'kar said. "This is not a negotiation. This is a warning. Rescind your tariffs. Cease your exploitation of Mars, or face annihilation." Trump smirked. "Annihilation, please. You think you can scare us? We're Americans. We don't back down." The alien tilted its head as if studying him. Then, without another word, it vanished. Chapter 5. Humanity Strikes Back. Scene: Pentagon War Room, Washington, D.C. General Hayes slammed his fist on the table. "We need a plan, and we need it now." Around him, military officials and scientists debated furiously. The Vey'kar ships had begun appearing across the solar system, blockading Mars and cutting off supplies to Earth. Panic was spreading and time was running out. "We can't fight them head-on," Finch said, her voice steady despite the chaos. "Their technology is centuries ahead of ours. But we can outsmart them." Hayes raised an eyebrow. "Outsmart them how?" Finch leaned forward, her eyes gleaming with determination. "They think we're weak, primitive. But they don't understand what makes us human. Our creativity, our resilience, our ability to adapt." Hayes nodded slowly. "All right, Doc. What's the plan?" Finch smiled. "We're going to show them why humanity is the most dangerous species in the galaxy." Chapter 6. The Plan. Scene: Pentagon War Room, Washington, D.C. Dr. Eleanor Finch paced back and forth in front of the holographic display, her mind racing as she explained her plan to the gathered military brass. Around her, generals exchanged skeptical glances, their arms crossed tightly over their chests. President Trump sat at the head of the table, his face a mixture of curiosity and impatience. "Here's the deal," Finch began, pointing to the hologram of the solar system. "The Vey'kar have us outgunned, outmaneuvered, and outclassed technologically. Their ships are faster, their weapons are stronger, and their defenses are impenetrable. But there's one thing they don't have." Trump leaned forward, his hands steepled. "What's that?" Finch turned to face him, her eyes blazing with determination. "Human unpredictability." The room fell silent. General Hayes raised an eyebrow. "Unpredictability? That's your big idea?" "Yes," Finch replied firmly. "The Vey'kar operate on logic and efficiency. They study patterns, calculate probabilities, and act accordingly. But humans, we're chaotic. We make decisions based on emotion, instinct, and creativity. That's our advantage." Trump smirked. "So you're saying we need to confuse them? Throw them off their game?" "Exactly," Finch said. "We're going to hit them where they least expect it, using tactics they can't predict or counter. And we're going to use every resource at our disposal. Guerrilla warfare, cyber attacks, misinformation campaigns, even old-fashioned brute force." General Hayes frowned. "Sounds risky." "It is. Finch admitted. But it's our only shot. Trump slapped the table, grinning. I like it. Let's do it. Big league. Chapter 7. The First Strike. Scene. Earth orbit, aboard the USS Freedom, America's first space battleship. Captain James Ironclad McAllister stood on the bridge of the USS Freedom, staring out at the black void of space. The ship was a marvel of human engineering. A hulking beast armed with railguns, missile launchers, and experimental plasma cannons. It wasn't as advanced as the Vey'kar ships, but it had one key feature the aliens didn't: guts. All systems green, Captain, reported Lieutenant Sarah Patel, her voice steady despite the tension in the air. Weapons are primed and ready. McAllister nodded. Good. Let's give these alien bastards a taste of human ingenuity. The Freedom moved into position, its engines humming softly. Ahead, a Vey'kar cruiser loomed, its sleek design glowing ominously against the backdrop of stars. The alien ship was massive, dwarfing the Freedom in the size and firepower. But McAllister wasn't intimidated. He had a plan. Fire decoy drones, he ordered. Patel pressed a button, and a swarm of small unmanned drones launched from the Freedom. Each drone emitted a signal designed to mimic the ship's signature, creating dozens of false targets for the Vey'kar sensors. The alien cruiser hesitated, its movement slowing as it analyzed the sudden influx of data. McAllister seized the opportunity. Now, he shouted, hit 'em with everything we've got. The Freedom unleashed a barrage of missiles and plasma bolts, aiming directly for the cruiser's weak points. Explosions erupted across the alien ship's hull, sending debris spiraling into space. For a moment, it seemed like the attack had worked. But then, the cruiser retaliated. A beam of energy shot from the alien ship, striking the Freedom and shaking it violently. Alarms blared. Sparks flew. McAllister gritted his teeth, gripping the edge of his console, as the ship struggled to stay intact. Damage report, he barked. Shields down to 40%, Patel replied. Hull integrity compromised. We can't take another hit like that. McAllister clenched his fists. Damn it. Retreat. Regroup. We'll come back stronger. The Freedom turned away, limping back toward Earth. The battle was far from over. Chapter 8. The Resistance. Scene: underground bunker, Colorado Springs. The bunker was packed with people, scientists, engineers, hackers, and soldiers, all working tirelessly to prepare humanity's next move. Dr. Finch stood at the center of the chaos, directing teams and reviewing plans. She hadn't slept in days, but she refused to rest until Earth had a fighting chance. Status update, she called out. We've successfully hacked into the Vey'kar communication network, said Alex Chen, a young hacker with a mop of unruly hair. Their encryption is insane, but we have managed to intercept some of their messages. What are they saying? Finch asked. Chen hesitated. They're planning something big, a full-scale invasion. They're going to hit Earth hard, and soon. Finch's stomach twisted. How soon? Within the next 72 hours, Chen replied grimly. Finch took a deep breath, forcing herself to stay calm. All right. Then we need to act fast. What's the status of Project Phoenix? Almost ready, said Dr. Raj Patel, an engineer overseeing the project. We have built prototypes of the EMP bombs. If deployed correctly, they should disable the Vey'kar ships temporarily. Temporarily isn't good enough, Finch said. We need permanent solutions. We're working on it, Patel assured her. But it's going to take time. Finch nodded. Do what you can. Every second counts. Chapter 9. The Counterattack. Scene: Lunar Base. Alpha, Earth's secret moon base. The moon base was humanity's last line of defense, a hidden stronghold equipped with advanced weaponry and experimental technology. From here, Finch and her team coordinated the counterattack, launching strikes against the Vey'kar fleet and disrupting their operations. EMP bombs deployed, reported Colonel Samantha Reyes, the base's commanding officer. Targets neutralized. Good, Finch said. Keep the pressure on. We need to buy ourselves as much time as possible. Suddenly, alarms blared. Finch turned to the monitor, her heart sinking as she saw the incoming threat. A massive Vey'kar mothership was approaching the moon base, its weapons charging. They've found us, Reyes said, her voice tense. We need to evacuate. No, Finch said firmly. We hold our ground. This space is too important to lose. Reyes hesitated, then nodded. Understood. The battle that followed was brutal. The moon base's defenses held strong, but the Vey'kar mothership was relentless. Missiles flew, lasers fired, and explosions rocked the lunar surface. Finch fought alongside the soldiers, refusing to back down. Finally, after hours of combat, the mothership retreated, its hull damaged and its weapons disabled. Cheers erupted throughout the base, but Finch knew the war was far from over. Chapter 10. Humanity Unites. Scene: United Nations Assembly, New York City. World leaders gathered once again, this time united by a common goal: survival. President Trump stood at the podium, addressing the assembly with uncharacteristic seriousness. This is not just America's fight, he said. This is humanity's fight. And if we're going to win, we need to work together. No more borders, no more divisions. Just one planet, united against a common enemy. The room erupted into applause. For the first time in her history, humanity set aside its differences and came together as one.